Welcome to Delightfully Dysfunctional, a podcast about navigating the emotions of the human condition and the challenges that come with it. I'm Keilani Persian Mason, a psychotherapist and life coach with James Timmons, an ever-curious human. This is not a replacement for mental health therapy. Please seek out mental health care if that's what you're needing. This is an opportunity for self-healers to dive deep and understand more about themselves. I'm Keilani, this is James, and you're listening to Delightfully Dysfunctional.
I'm listening to our conversation.
Welcome. I know. Okay, I know we've mentioned this before, but for the dear listeners who are not watching, which is preferred for me, I prefer that you listen and not watch. But once again, it's not like we would call, I'm not a middle school girl being like, what are you going to wear tomorrow, James? Yeah. But we both show up in the morning in the same like color and style, and it's weird. So we're like decked in our like black turtleneck.
Yeah. And last time we were wearing green. I mean, last recording I was wearing like a flannel. We were not color coordinated. But it's happened like 50% of the time.
Yeah. And I don't even think about it in the morning. Then I see you and I'm like, what are you wearing? Do I need to go change? No.
Well, I only have like 5 shirts. So
you might need some more shirts.
I need to just send you the colors that I do have. And then, you'd be like, okay, don't wear those colors.
Don't wear those. It's fun. It's a fun surprise.
But it works. Yeah. Like and every band is color coordinated. So.
Oh, right. And so we're basically a band.
Yeah, pretty much. With the neon light and everything.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It has been a really nice last week for me. Because right after we finished recording last week, Zach and I hopped in the car and we left for Seattle.
Yeah.
And so that was super fun. We got in and we went to the Coldplay concert. And so it was really funny. I've never gotten there so early. I don't know why. We couldn't find like a bar that we wanted to stop at on the way in. So we're like, we'll just go in and get our seats. But it was so smooth, so much faster than any other time when usually there's a long line that you still wait in. Anyways, we got in, we sat down, and it was still like, there's 3 opening acts before Coldplay. So we had to sit there and listen to all of them. And one of them is 070 Shake. Have you heard of them?
No.
Okay. I know they play at like Coachella and I don't know, stuff like that. And I think she's dating like Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter.
Oh.
So I don't know why I'm sharing that for context. That this isn't a nobody. This is someone who people know of. And she was terrible. It was like, when I looked at Zach and I'm like, so I want to pay money to not be here right now. And like, I feel like I'm held hostage.
What's the name of the artist?
070 Shake.
Oh, dang.
It also seemed like she was maybe influenced by some kind of substance.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Very possible.
And then I think she would notice that people weren't giving her the response that she wanted. And so she would just start yelling like, Sienna! And then like, she'd get a little more. Anyways, it was not great. But then followed by her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Like, such a professional performer.
Yeah.
She's like shredding it on the guitar while she's singing full voice. And then she's putting that down for a moment. Let me do a little dance thing here. And now I'm going to play the piano while I sing. And I have perfect pitch.
She's like one of those who had to be famous. Who had to become famous.
I was so impressive. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, I felt like I was watching a very polished, like, Super Bowl halftime or like Grammy performance. And she has Grammys. She's a Grammy award-winning artist. It was such a difference.
She's awesome. She's unique. She's like eclectic. She's very talented.
I learned something. She is half Asian. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's half Filipino.
That explains it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfect sense now.
Sorry, was that racist?
You know what? It is Asian pride.
Is it Asian pride right now?
No, but that's just what we just exhibited.
Yeah. I don't think I think the human race is supreme.
The human race.
I'm talking to you, dogs.
Oh, dear.
Some people don't believe that. Some people like dogs more than people. which is...
Some people do like dogs more than people. I mean, they don't talk back.
Yeah.
I guess.
They bark, though, and they bite. I bark. I have Tourette's. See? Was that on command? I did.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like that one came too freely.
Sometimes I'll be in a house with a dog, and I'll have my tick, and the dog will think I'm communicating with it. But like,
start barking at you?
Yeah, they'll argue with me in their dog talk,
and you're like, no.
And I'm like, no, I'm not arguing.
That's not what's happening here.
I can't. It's a neurological disorder.
They don't understand.
And they're like, oh, really?
Oh.
Like, what's it like though? And I explain it to them.
Wow, deep moments with James. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so it was a really wonderful experience, and Coldplay was great, but I could definitely tell that they were tired, because holy shoot, like the tour they're on is insane. Like, it's like we were the 109th show on their tour, and they just keep going. They have like another year of it. So I don't understand. And like literally world tour, like in South America and in Asian countries, they're doing like several shows in each city. It's crazy.
Are they going to take like breaks though?
They do take breaks. Okay, I saw that. They'll take like a month-long break or several weeks and then go back at it. But yeah, I don't know. It was funny because we saw them 2 years ago, and it was like right when things were starting to come back after COVID. Mm-hmm. And so it was their first show after several years. It was their first show after several years, and they happened to be in Seattle, and they came in with so much pep, like they'd been like bottling it up and saving all their energy. So there's a big difference from like 2 years ago and the 109th show.
I mean, if I was playing to crowds like that with like the LED bracelets and everything, I would want to do that every single day for the rest of my life, So yeah, they're probably tired because like their body is just worn down, but they probably love every moment. I
think you're right. And maybe it was just, there's still, even when you love what you're doing, there's going to be days when you feel tired. So it was still a beautiful and wonderful and super fun.
That's a good point, actually, segueing right into our topic of depression, because even if you have mountaintop experiences every single day, even people in that situation can't escape the feelings of depression,
Right. And that was a good segue. Good job, James.
Thank you. I blacked out.
What are we talking about? What happened? Today we're going to be talking about seasonal affective disorder. SAD.
Okay. I feel that.
Yeah. Well, it's the beginning of fall coming, as we are currently recording right now. Mm-hmm. More cloudy, overcast days. We're definitely noticing the shorter days as well.
Yeah.
And because we live in the northern hemisphere, there we go. It'll be like hormonal nemisphere. That's what I was
Hormonal?
Hormonal nemisphere. That's
a phrase. That's a term.
Yeah. I'm going to develop that. The northern hemisphere, we're going to notice that. There's going to be less sunlight. There's going to be less light. And I've always lived in the northern hemisphere, in Alaska, northern Minnesota.
South Africa was southern hemisphere.
Oh, you're right. There you go. Totally wrong. So weird, too, when you're... like the seasons are flip-flopped, because I was there during their winter and like Christmas time at one point, and it's like Santa in Bermuda shorts, and it's their summer and it's hot.
Oh wow.
And then the summer months where we're typically associating it with sun. I mean, I don't know. So most major cities, I think, are in the northern hemisphere. And a lot of things are really in the northern hemisphere, like all of Europe, all of the United States. And so, I don't know. It's funny how you create those norms. And then you're like, no, in like 50% of the Earth's mass, they have it backwards. They do it the other way.
Yeah.
Anyways. Blah, blah, blah. Yep, you're right. I was in South Africa for a bit. But in the northern hemisphere, you're going to have a lack of sunlight. And these are things you might notice. I feel like I always meeting and speaking with people, or it's coming up in natural conversation about this time. People are noticing the effects of seasonal affective disorder, which means that you might feel some more depression. You might feel a bit more withdrawn, or have a difficulty finding the energy and motivation in the winter months, partially due to a lack of vitamin D and a lack of getting that natural sunlight. So Anyways, do you know anything about seasonal affective disorder other than what I've shared, James?
I do. I mean, I know that it's a thing, and I know I have friends who are like pretty severely affected by it. And I know that one pro tip that I've heard, it's not a pro tip, it's just a tip, is to go into a tanning bed during the winter months, because it gives you that dose of like vitamin D in that feeling. Because like right now, when I was coming here, the sun kind of poked through the clouds, and I went, oh, it felt good, you know, and then you don't realize how much you miss it until you see the sun. And but also like, I know that we're only talking about S.A.D, but I mean, me personally, you know, there's some things, some circumstances that are contributing to my depression right now anyway. So it's like, I didn't factor in that might also be influencing me too. Because like it's crazy. Cause like even being obsessed with like mental health and like developing all these tools and strategies and emotional intelligence and all that stuff, like when I find myself in a low point, I like revert back to like being emotionally stupid, and like I don't really use the tools. I just kind of like sulk and like, but then eventually, I mean, I do eventually like,
right.
No, James, like here's what you need to do in this situation, you know?
Right. No, I think I'm so glad that you brought that up, actually, because when we're stressed, we regress.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing to remember and to kind of give yourself some grace for, because it can feel, I think it can add to a level of disappointment in oneself or a sense of shame in oneself when you're already feeling low, to be like, I thought I freaking learned this already.
Yeah.
Like, why am I here again? Or, like, it's like a frustrating thing. Like I'm trying to chase or catch this higher vibration or this better feeling, and it slipped out of my fingers. Yeah. So remembering that, okay, when we're stressed, we regress. And in the moment when you're feeling that way, when you're feeling depressed, when you might be feeling the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder, you forget to do those things that are good for you, and you want to hibernate. That's a bit of the feeling. I want to go inward. And sometimes it's remembering in those moments that it might not be that I want to do this thing, but it will make me feel better. Yeah. You have to force yourself to do the things that you know will make you snap out of it, or to hold the boundaries that you know are going to help you, even if it doesn't feel like something that you want to do. Yeah. And that can be hard.
Well, it's like, it's like your brain goes into survival mode, and it just becomes like chaotic. All your thoughts are loud, or your feelings are loud, but you're rational. So then, you know, the adrenaline, cortisol, and everything just kind of floods, and like I'm not rational in those moments. And then it has to but I've learned as a discipline to just wait. I call it surviving the night, when you are, and I imagine like a soldier dropped in the middle of an intense battle, and it's like you just gotta make it through the night and help will come, you know. And so I always tell myself that when I'm like catastrophizing in the middle of the night, like just survive the night, go to sleep. Like you're gonna toss and turn tonight. It's gonna be horrible, but like don't kill yourself. You know what I mean?
Well, first, I hope you're not having thoughts like that, and it's meant like just trying to get through the night and like not get stuck in your negative thoughts. But I think part of the sentiment in that perhaps is that realization of there's nothing that I'll be able to solve tonight. I'm not going to be able to think my way through this tonight. Yeah. It's only going to lead to exhaustion. So the best, the kindest, the most helpful, useful thing for me to do is just to put it down for the night and to go to bed. Yeah. And that's where I think a lot of that evening anxiety, where we have to remind ourselves, because the racing thoughts can skip over that fun fact and kind of just have a heyday. So it's good to recognize, okay, is this wasted worry? Because I'm not going to be able to do anything about it right now. Or am I worrying about circumstances or situations that are completely out of my control? Yeah. You can kind of be like, yeah, well, this situation sucks. But if I have nothing that I can do or solve or fix about it, maybe right now I just need to try and like reconnect with my breath, kind of bring it back to something that's simple to track. Yeah. And simple to pace. And
I feel like that's a really like good first good first step in opposite action. Because like, yeah, when I find myself catastrophizing, I'm usually thinking of the future, and I'm trying to predict the future and responding to that prediction when really it's probably not going to come true. But yeah, that focusing on my breath is focusing on the present moment, and that's like the opposite action, you know? Because yeah, focusing on the past or the future is usually a bad idea. You know,
if we're focused on the past, we're usually ruminating. What if only this alternate made up timeline were possible, where me and this person didn't break up, or when I actually did take that move or make that change.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really best, even in this is not going to hit the ears of someone who's going through a really difficult time, perhaps well, but I think that the healthiest mindset is to believe that you are in the best, most appropriate space wherever you currently are right now.
Yeah, radical acceptance.
And that's all you do have. You don't have, there are no alternate paths that you get to skip to.
Yeah.
Even if quantum physics says that it's a possibility, which is super cool if you're into it. I nerd out on it. It's super interesting to get into like metaphysical stuff, but you are in this reality, on this path.
Yeah.
I know of no sort of, time machine altering, jumping equipment that has been figured out. The DeLorean, I haven't seen it around.
Yeah.
It didn't make it.
Yeah.
Right.
And you'll never hit 88 miles per hour in Tri-Cities because everyone drives fucking slow. Anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, there's a problem there too. So the system is flawed. The system is flawed. You're not going to get there.
Exactly.
Right. So once you get to that conclusion, once you're able to think through all of those pieces, there's also studies of like the different aspects of depression, and rumination is really the number one factor that leads to deeper depression.
Yeah.
Is that there's a helplessness in that, because they're saying, this thing didn't happen, and because of that, my life is effed.
Yeah.
And I can't do anything about it, and anything I do won't be able to make up for this big mistake or this big like fork in the road. And it's the helplessness and the rumination. So that isn't going to be a solution, nor is that, I think planning appropriately for the future is one thing. And that's where we have to really delineate. Like if I'm planning appropriately, like perhaps someone has test anxiety, and instead of the what ifing of getting an F or not getting the grade they want, they prepare by studying or by, making sure they had appropriate accommodations or, X, Y, and Z, whatever it might be. Make sure that they can have a quiet space. That's different. That's preparation. And you have a solution. There's some doable things that you could do to make that better. It's not the same thing if it's like, oh, I don't know if this, what the economy is going to do. Yeah. I had a job interview, and what if I get it? What if I don't get it? What if I get it? What if I don't get it? You don't have control over that. Let it go.
Yeah, that's my reality right now. But, okay. I was actually reminded of something. I've been going through, we started a men's group going through the book Mountain Is You. And
you've been wanting that. I didn't know that you. Okay, that's so cool.
So super interesting perspectives, especially from other men.
Right.
Just that vulnerable. Anyway, one thing my friend David, who he made this point. He noticed that the author Brianna Wiest said, like, when you're overthinking, it's actually that you're underthinking. Because when you're overthinking, you're fixated on a micro part of the picture. Right. But if you zoom out and look at the macro, you're going to see, wait, I've been okay every time. And so that's one way of looking at the past in a positive way.
I like that framing that you need to zoom out. And I guess that's leaning into the perspective I'm trying to provide too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You need to zoom out and realize that like you've survived every shitty day that you've ever had.
It's like you are here, you are
Doesn't
okay.
Doesn't it feel good to say that, to like sit with that for a moment?
For sure.
There've been some shitty, really hard days.
Yeah, and you've survived. Steve Harvey has a reel where he says your batting average, you have 100% success rate of making it through tough times because you're here. And so that's, and that's, it's crazy though, because when you're catastrophizing, when you're in those moments,
Right.
it's hard because you're just trying to solve that problem that is the micro right in front of you.
Right.
But you're so fixated on it that you're not seeing, like, you're checked out of the here and now that you should be like thankful for. But I've been trying to really develop gratitudes every morning as a discipline.
Great. So, and I think this is part of why I wanted to have this conversation, because there should be some preparation when it comes to seasonal affective disorder, when it comes to these winter seasons where you might find yourself being more irritable or having more difficulty concentrating or feeling like there's changes in sleep or appetite or mood. And I love that might be a part of it. I think so much of it is a lifestyle change, that there's a journaling practice to really be seeking and being intentional about finding gratitude. You mentioned tanning beds. I used to do that in my youth, but now I am like, I'm worried about them wrinkles coming in. So there is light therapy, though. I actually need to get a new one. Mine broke last year, but you can purchase these happy lights. And it gives you it gives you the dose of vitamin D and some of the really healthy things that natural light gives you. And it won't tan you. I would use it like while I was getting ready in the morning. It just needs to be facing your face. Or when I was doing telehealth, sometimes I would have that on as well. And it does help, but it gives you the same sensation for your eyes for what natural light is like when we're having these really gray days. So I recommend that to people as well, making sure that you're getting enough vitamin D. And in the Northern Hemisphere, again, you're going to need more than you think you do.
Yeah.
Talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor, but do your own research there. For some people, they might need to look into medications. They might need to look into either selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, like a traditional antidepressant. I've talked a lot about ketamine and the use of psychedelics to help with mental health. There are other options in that vein. We're probably going to be doing a full series on psychedelics soon, but
Can we just
I won't
do
go.
psychedelics right now?
You keep saying that like as if that isn't psychedelic therapy. I want to give a delineate. People they do psychedelics recreationally, and James likes to joke and say that we're high. I want to be clear, we are never high. And that James, you are kind of the most like, you're pretty a straight arrow kind of, you've never even done drugs.
That's true. I just want to escape my reality temporarily.
You want to escape your reality temporarily. What I do is psychedelic assisted therapy. So it's done always with the goal of healing. And I know you're joking. I just need to tell our listeners, because I don't know that they know you're joking.
But am I joking? Yes, I'm joking. I'm sorry. Sorry, I can't resist that.
Am I joking? It's crazy. It's hitting me. It's happening.
No, my drug of choice is alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah. And but you're not drinking right now.
I'm not.
No, you're completely sober.
Although we really need to do that that idea of like late night advice or whatever, or reactions.
Well, speaking of, we need some more advice rolling in.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be,
Are you guys just
I don't know that
perfect
I think
right now?
you need to post the link in the reel.
Okay.
Or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Or in the comment so that people can really have access and find it. But yeah. That's the first step, is that we need some advice. We'd love to be able to provide you with our best advice that we can if there's something that's plaguing you. Yes.
We should try a TikTok live where we take advice. But we'll actually we'll have some 3 advices all teed up, and then if the people that are tuning in can ask for advice real time.
Okay, I'm open to this.
With alcohol.
Open to this. Oh boy. We'll see.
Because then we'll give.
I'm gonna get red and blotchy. I got that Asian glow. It kicks in, man. I don't look cute.
I'm gonna be obnoxious. I'm gonna be like, listen,
gosh.
just hit
I don't know
it and
if I
quit
can
it.
handle. I can't handle more of that. I can't.
We'll have Zach to keep us accountable.
Oh my gosh, yeah, to level
Katie
it out.
said she's interested in that.
That scares me more.
See, but your reaction is telling me it would be so entertaining.
It'd be entertaining because I'd be like, what's going on? Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, so we've talked about light therapy, we've talked about medications as an option, some other things that can be super helpful. Obviously, I'm a huge supporter of therapy, and therapy can teach you strategies that can help you navigate and use different thought processes to have a different perspective, to gain insight. So these are all super helpful tools. So that would probably be my number one go-to, obviously, that I'm supporting and in favor of. Lifestyle changes. You've already mentioned some, like doing some journaling. I love the idea of not just journaling too. I love the gratitude journaling, but if you wanted to layer on top of that, you could list just like 3 times that you did something that you were proud of. And it doesn't have to be big. It's just like, what did I accomplish today that I felt good to cross off of the list? Because I think too often we can at the end of our day be thinking speaking of the to-do list that is never ending or that is left uncrossed. But pause and be really grateful for like, no, I got some stuff done. Like I'm taking steps in the right direction. It's going to help you notice the progress you're making instead of kind of gaslighting yourself.
Yeah.
And if there's certain interactions, I'd even say like, what were 3 kind moments of either someone giving you kindness or of you giving kindness to others? When I am more intentional about being kind, of even just like smiling to people more in the store, being more interactive with the people who are helping me with my groceries or whatever, it makes me feel better. And I think we can get tired and in our own just like head of all the things floating in our head. And I can see that the people who are helping me check out of the grocery store or doing whatever else, they're feeling tired too. But when they genuinely see someone having interest, like, how is your day?
Yeah.
It makes a difference. It makes a difference for me when I can tell that someone's being genuine. So kind of it helps you be more self-aware, and those are some different lifestyle changes that you could add in, as well as obviously having a more balanced diet, being mindful about the carbs and the sugar that you eat, being mindful about alcohol intake.
Yeah.
If that's something that is a struggle, you might start to pay attention to like, is that something I do more in the winter? What are the habits that you might start leaning into in the winter? One for me that I have to be careful of is like, I do like to hibernate. I want to like watch like cozy shows, and that doesn't always then give me the opportunity to get the time outside or to get as much physical activity as I want. So I'm having to gear up and have more routine for myself as it gets darker too, and it's harder to wake up in the morning. So again, these aren't always things that you're like, yay, I'm so excited to wake up earlier. But in the long run, and when we zoom out and we see the big picture, it can be helpful if you also get that like physical movement in. You're able to, do all of the routines that will start your day out right, will help you feel better. And those are some of the things that I think can be really helpful, as well as practicing those mindfulness techniques to relax and making sure that you have enough like social friend support. Make sure like this is a good time to evaluate who are the people that you do feel comfortable hanging out with. Because I tend to feel, I love your thoughts. I feel like people are more social in the summer.
For sure.
I mean, and part of it is that there's holidays and like a lot of family gatherings.
And there's more activities available,
Right, because there's like being outside. That's like there's a ton of activities that we wouldn't do in the winter time. That's true.
Yeah.
So I think it is a good time to really consider like what are the friendships you want to develop, or perhaps maybe there's some like winter hobbies that can be fun or you could do with someone else too.
Yeah.
And one that's silly, but I think is a good one. This is maybe my challenge for you this week. I'm going to start giving you more challenges. I think it's fun to decorate your environment, to make your environment feel good.
You want me to decorate?
I want you to decorate your place a little bit.
I can do that.
Okay. Because, I mean, I haven't seen your place, but what you described sounds like a real bachelor pad, man. It sounds like it's not a lot that's making it look pretty.
Yeah. No, that's... Oh, it's funny. I might cut this out. But there's this friend that I have been spending time with who is into decorating. Mm-hmm. And... Have they lent some advice? No, but I helped them decorate, and it really made their place seem a lot more alive and and like cozy and homey.
Right.
And I was like, okay, maybe I should do that. But I definitely, well, here's me talking myself out of it. But I don't have the, okay, I'm going to say I don't have the creativity to do that, but I know that I do. But I don't want to spend money on artwork and decorations and things like that, you know? I don't know.
What if we make it a bite-sized thing? It's not that you have to do all of it, but I get the sense that you haven't really made progress either.
I haven't even made an inch.
Right. So I'm not saying that you have to like go all out and buy the everything.
Yeah.
And also, I am a huge fan of secondhand. Like, I love a steal of a deal.
Yeah.
I love like finding what I want on. It feels like a treasure hunt on Marketplace or online or garage sales. That's my thing. So you could also, if there was a style you wanted, I would probably help because I think it's fun, and then I'm not spending my money.
I did buy a coffee table though recently.
Oh, okay.
And it was mid-century.
Okay.
It was nice. It was cool, and it changed my life. Because now when I'm on my couch,
you're like,
I can set things down.
That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
That's right, big boy. You got yourself a coffee table.
And it makes my living room look way nicer. Yeah. Okay. So that did really
phase one. You got
up
yourself.
my life.
Okay. What's the next step? How can we help your place feel cozy? Do we need a nice throw blanket, a rug?
No, I have throw blanket, but I need maybe a piece of artwork.
A piece of artwork. Yeah. And what kind of artwork speaks to you, James?
Actually, you know what? Remember that bison design that I had made with the poly design?
Right.
I'll you know what? I will share it when I
do it.
And I could frame that.
It would be, and honestly, if you send it like to the UPS store, it gets framed so quickly. You could buy a frame on Amazon.
I'm gonna here. You keep talking. I'm gonna try to find it.
I should say.
Wait. I think I'm getting close. Here it is. Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Here, let me put that. Wait. Okay. Can't really tell. There we go. See? What if we put that on black T-shirts?
Isn't that the one that goes on YouTube? Like this is only going to be a.
No, all of these. I'll cut to that angle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look
So
at
the poly bison. And because we were thinking of, it's the same color scheme that we have. And I was going to put the word lean in.
Oh.
You know, but imagine a black hoodie, zip up with that poly bison on it, where it says lean in right here.
I think it would be cool in like grays and neutral tones too.
You want me to do a gray, like a grayscale version of that?
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, sweet. See, now you're getting creative, and you have like a personal ownership and like meaning behind it.
Yeah, that was my artwork.
That's your artwork.
Yeah.
I think. Okay. So, do you feel like that's something you could make happen?
Yes, and I will.
And you will. Okay, I'm gonna follow up. I wanna hear details. Okay. Like curtains, that's another small thing that can make a big difference.
I have blinds.
Do you feel blind? Curtains are better.
Oh, okay. See, curtains, now you're just making me spend all my money.
So that's too much. Okay, let's start with the artwork.
How about I take my mattress?
We'll talk about curtains
off
next
the
time.
floor.
A bed frame was something I was hoping to bring up too, but you were afraid of curtains, so I didn't want to go there. It seems triggering.
I'm embarrassed to bring a lady home. Because
I think you should be embarrassed based on what you've shared. That's why I'm trying to help you out, man.
My living room area and my kitchen is fine, but then like my bedroom is
a mattress on the floor is what you told me with your 5 shirts hanging in the closet.
I haven't had a woman in my bedroom for over a year. And at this point, I've let it go. I have like boxes and stuff and clothes on the floor and my mattress.
No. We got to dial it in. And I think it'll make you feel better about your place. I think
be more
you'll
confident.
take more pride.
I'll be like, you want to come to my place? Because my bed is off the floor.
Check it out.
I'm like, see that? Those are wheels.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're going to find you some kind of bed frame, help you out. Oh man,
Keilani's like my surrogate sister. You guys, can you tell? She cares.
I know. I was like, that's part of the matching clothes. I'm like, you need to stop wearing the same thing because we look like creepy adult twins that are trying to still dress alike. And it's sending a weird vibe.
Yeah, our parents made it dress us this morning.
Yes, our parents dressed us today.
We should take stepbrothers pictures.
Like,
yeah, me behind you.
yes, awkward family photos. They're so funny. I wish families took more awkward family. Now they're all like presentable and they're neutral tones walking through a field. No, that's not what I want.
No, you want the
I want cringe.
Yeah. You want the JCPenney backdrop. Yeah. With the sweater vests. Like all sweater vests. And dad always has only a mustache. Mm-hmm. And transitions lenses. Okay. I don't want to offend you guys, but transitions lenses are a red flag. I said it.
Red flag.
If I see somebody with transitions lenses, I'm like, stay away from my children.
Oh, no. Oh, you think it's like a creepy thing?
Yeah. I watched Jared from Subway documentary.
And he had transitions
lenses.
And so that's how you know.
Dahmer had transitions lenses. I'm sorry, guys. If you're all in and you're like a perfectly straight arrow good person, like
you
awesome,
might be the exception.
But go to the eye doctor and be like, listen, I just want regular glasses and sunglasses, prescription. Because how hard is this, guys?
How hard is this?
Like that's.
I lose things, so it is a problem. I'm like, I
Wait,
can.
Do you have transitions lenses?
No, but
okay.
I understand the allure. I understand.
But they always transition like if it.
Do you have contacts?
No.
You got that 20/20 vision.
I have like close to 20/20.
You don't understand. Then you don't have a, what does it say? Something in this race. What's
I don't have a horse in the race.
Yeah, there's no horse in the race.
Although, but here's the thing though, transitions lenses will start to transition when you're inside.
I know. I have complaints, but if you don't know, you don't know.
Well, I
you
had
don't
glasses.
know
For driving at night.
For driving at night. I've never seen you in glasses.
I said I lost them.
So now you're just blind.
I don't need them.
Now you need a warning system when you drive at night.
No, I drive at night all the time. Fine.
But you said you had them. Like you needed them.
They were for more aesthetic. They were for the looks.
For the ladies
who like that nerd vibe. They were not transitions.
They were not transitions.
No.
I feel like okay. I have no input on transitions lenses. I'm not ready to go there yet,
well,
but I understand the logistics.
Yeah.
I get it.
Just like the track record of the people of their patrons. I'm so sorry if you wear transitions lenses, but you really need to think that life decision. I'm just giving you a heads up. People are judging you.
People are judging. No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I disagree, and I think you should stop judging them.
Sorry. If you have transitions lenses and cell phone holster and white New Balances, then you probably know how to fucking mow a lawn. Your favorite pastime is pulling weeds. I'm sorry. Okay, let's get. We're totally.
I like to pull weeds.
That's great. But you don't have You don't have any. That's only one of.
That's only one of the red flags.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all right.
No, pulling weeds is not a red flag.
Okay.
I'm saying those are dad vibes that I just listed off.
It's true.
Sorry, I'm totally digressing.
I know we're not. Things have gone off the rails. I don't even. Where are we? What are we talking about? What year is it?
Transitions lenses. How about transitioning into ways to combat depression?
Oh boy. Okay. My last tip is to plan activities and to set goals.
Okay.
So I like making sure to plan maybe a little weekend getaway, or making sure that there's just fun things interspersed. Because I think although the family activities of winter can take hold where it just feels like there's planning and coordinating and not necessarily things that might feel fun. Not that family activities aren't fun, but doing things that feel fun to you. Or having, like I said, setting a goal. I think that's when a lot of workout goals start too. I'm going to start doing X, Y, and Z, or having, working towards this so that I can run that 5K, or I can be in this or that. So I don't know. When it comes to that, are there any goals that you have on the horizon? And I guess I was mentioning fitness goals. I think other great goals might be like to read X amount of books in a month or whatever.
Sorry. Let's see here. Okay. Goals? No, not really.
Let's give you a goal.
Well, I just came up with a goal yesterday that is the opposite action of what I typically do in depression. And that is to really lean into my creativity. And because what makes me, gives me life is creating things. So yesterday I had just such a horrible day emotionally. But I had already decided like prior that I was going to like make 3 videos. And so normally I'd be like, I'd talk myself out of it. I don't have the energy. I don't have the, I don't feel like it, but I forced myself to do it anyway. And I'm thankful today that I did that. It like awakened that creativity. I'm like, okay, now we're starting. So like, yeah, so the goals, and this has been a goal for years for me to like be consistent with content creation because, but the cool thing about this podcast is that I have been consistent with like the real. It
forces you to be consistent, right? I think that's something I've noticed is, first I want to say, this has been on my mind. I want to say how much I appreciate the work that you do because, it's not work that I, get to see you doing. I see the product of it, but I know that it's time consuming and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But the momentum that we've gained, or both of us have gained in this process of working together on the podcast, because there is someone that I'm accountable to.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it creates that layer, and I think at times we should also realize when we're ready to feel challenged and bring on another layer.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. And
because I think that it's been so fun to feel like we've gotten those routines down.
Yeah. Yeah. And I call it the baseline. So like we've really established, like a foundation and like a floor, a baseline. And so like those are like non-negotiable. Like if I know I'm going to make a reel tomorrow, and if I don't, then I'll do it the next day, but yeah, so yeah, now we can add things on top of that because we've set that foundation. So it's really exciting that that's the beginning. So then I've taken that idea and that experience, and I'm like, okay, now apply that to your business, your marketing, and like, because you know that you can do it and you've done it. So and then that also is kind of the same concept with like fitness. Like, if you stick with it long enough and find something that fits, then you've created that baseline, and then it's non-negotiable at that point,
Right. So it's like kind of raising the baseline,
exactly.
Elevating that baseline.
Yeah. So then if we add another thing into the podcast workflow, then and then it becomes consistent for several months, and that our baseline,
it's just
raises.
The new normal.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's how, and I feel like that's the way to be successful in anything. Because like normally when you are ambitious about being successful, you look at something that you want to accomplish, and then you just try to like accomplish all the things as quickly as possible, but then that you haven't really incorporated into your life, you hate doing it. But it's the more appropriate thing is like, well, no, here I'm going to build this foundation and this baseline, and then add incrementally, and it's going to get better and better, and then pretty soon, if I fall, my floor is a skyscraper, so I won't fall far, and
I think in tying it back to our topic too, it's about if you know that your baseline has a tendency to lower, in the winter months, then creating a plan to make sure that it can level out. Yeah. Being aware, kind of setting those goals, working through, and I think any kind of goal that you can set and really be tracking the progress on is exciting. I mean, it could be that you want to, I think it's a really fun goal when it has something to do about giving back too. Yeah. There's something that feels really good about that. So again, like I'd mentioned, like, even if it's just about being kinder, nicer, more personable with the general people that you interact with, or if it's something bigger than that, it feels really good. And this would be a good time of year to maybe consider some of that. So I hope that this episode has been helpful and given you some tips. We don't actually have an advice today, but I feel that we'll be getting some rolling in soon. So I don't know if is there anything that either of us need advice on?
Actually, I thought of something in lieu of a device.
Okay.
Advice.
All right.
So a lot of our tips have been things that could cost money to do, like vacations and things like that.
Right.
And so I was thinking, in this economic situation right now, there's probably a lot of people who a lot of their depression is influenced by running out of money. And so, like, what would you say would be good advice to somebody who is crippled by financial their situation, but then they still need to like fight through it and battle their depression, Right.
Well, it doesn't have to be a trip. It could be something much smaller than that. In fact, I think back to COVID, and I know I've mentioned this before, but one like fun idea that Zach and I would have was to have like themed nights. If you have a family or a partner, then they could like kind of have fun with that.
Yeah.
Like a Harry Potter themed night, or we're going to have a, European themed night and listen to that kind of music. Or you could have fun with it. You could be watching like Euro Trip and eating something from like, it could be whatever, right? It doesn't have to be serious, but some of ours were like, we're going to have Mediterranean food and listen to Mediterranean music. And that was really fun. So it still felt like a departure from the norm. So maybe that's a better way to think of it. Not that you need to travel somewhere, but what can you do that feels like a departure from the norm? Because in that, the winter months, the shorter days, I think that the routine can be a little bit slovenly. Like you're just like a sloth and you're just hibernating, and it's not like there's that momentum that you're needing. So how can you get out of that rut, I guess? Maybe that's a better question.
Yeah.
So, and none of those things would cost money. And a couple other ideas that wouldn't cost any money. There's, lots of different physical activity that doesn't cost money. There's lots of free YouTube videos for working out or for just using your body weight. You can meet up with people. I think something that I'd like to start doing, and I have a friend who does it, which is great, is just taking long walks no matter what the weather is. That doesn't, observe the weather. And this kind of applies, but I loved the phrasing of it. I can't recall where I heard it, but they talked about the feeling of joy, and that joy is the enjoyment of the passage of time. And like connecting with that felt different to me than just the idea of what joy is. It gave it a different depth of understanding. Like, okay, I can enjoy the passage of time even on a dreary day. It's temporary. This is just a part of the process. It helps me appreciate those other days more. And it's actually enjoyable in the beginning. I like the changing of the seasons, kind of no matter what season we're going into, because it's refreshing. So, those are listening to music that you enjoy. I think, again, I can personally get into a rut of listening to too many podcasts or audiobooks. So if I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to music I really like, and I'm going to sing in my car, that changes my mood. That changes the feeling that I have. There's a lot of things that don't have to cost money. And even when you're talking about like being more creative, I think most of the certainly when you're dealing with things that require like cameras and technology, it can get expensive, but you have all of the baseline equipment too.
That's true.
You have the ability
it's free
to be,
for me.
Like it's paid for. So it's just about the creativity of your ideas and making sense of it. And so there isn't a limitation there except to maybe sort out what the block is that you're feeling.
That's a great, because like,
to say F the block and just do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting here thinking like, I am like, that's what excites me right now is creating content. I don't know, maybe I'm in a creative season, but because I'll just be completely transparent. like that advice was a lot for me because I'm a realtor and the market is brutal.
Yeah.
And so it's uncertain. And I have a lot of fear that, I'm going to go out of business again. But but in the it's like all I can do is just my best today. Mm-hmm. But and
it's difficult when you might be trying your hardest, trying harder than you were at times when things were flowing better, and to be not getting the reinforcement of you're on the right track. And it's not the kind of business that really tends to give you you're on the right track kind of reassurance. It's chaotic.
Well, what sucks is that like I had worked so hard to get myself out of that really low point. And I'm thankful. Like a lot of my self-talk is you have come so far. So like, just keep going. You might have a lull, a dip, but it's going to be temporary. But the one thing I have to really like examine about myself is that when I start, when money gets tight, I feel so much shame, and I would rather tell you about my deepest, darkest secret than my bank account, because I've, for some reason, projected that I am less valuable of a person. And and that's a little bit influenced by how, like, the dating culture, women obviously want guys who can provide. And so, just knowing that, like, oh gosh, I'm not desirable to you now because my financial situation. But then I've had to tell myself, like, if somebody judges me at a low point, then that's really unfair, and then that person is not invited to my life because I'm working through this. Like, I'm gonna get better, and like money's gonna come back, and it, like, so fuck you, but it's me who's projecting that.
Right.
So I don't know.
So it's like kind of vacillating between, like a fear of judgment that keeps you wanting to like hide and feel shameful of that part, and a feeling of judgment that has you feeling defensive.
Yeah. When nobody's actually judging me.
Right. Yeah. You know what's funny in this? I'm still talking about what you're talking about, but I recently realized that feeling of judgment. I started asking myself, who is it that I'm associating with that? Like, who are the people? Where is this crowd that I think is being so critical? Like, are they picketing my house? Like, they're not there.
Yeah,
they're not there.
Well, for me, what triggered all this is like, when if somebody in my life pulls away, then my immediate thought is, oh, I wonder if they like felt that energy or something. And because I don't tell anyone about it
except the world on this podcast.
But it's so like that's where my mind goes, and then I become so defensive, and I'm like, that person is probably judging me for that, and so but it's a projection.
I think that so many people are struggling and aren't talking about it. So I appreciate that you are, because it feels like an elephant in the room that no one is mentioning. And people who even had, there's just been so much change in the last year. I've heard from so many people, the struggle of how much has changed.
Yeah. It's comforting in one way that to know that other people are struggling too, but at the same time, I hate that people are struggling, Right. But like I call it the American or the capitalist caste system, where like because
there's a class system.
Because we judge people based on like their financial status. And but one thing I've noticed is that people without money are way fucking cooler and way more personable, and I feel safer around them. And I'm around people with a lot of money all the time, but there's such a pressure, and you can feel the judgment. But
I think that there are different lines of business that is emphasized more or less too. And so, I think it can be difficult in that line of business where there's a lot of comparison, I think, built into it.
Yeah.
Where, I don't know, some of what you're saying, it might not even, I know that it's primarily influenced by like the ability for finances to flow.
Yeah.
But you might also be questioning like, well, it comes with a healthy dose of judgment either way, really.
Yeah.
That line of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hear you saying, well, maybe I'm curious about other options too.
I have looked into other things so hard lately.
I know. Yeah, we've talked a little bit about it.
We just need to be professional podcasters. You guys need to start contributing to. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Not joking.
Oh my gosh.
No, but yeah. Anyway, that was where my mind was. I guess I'll just say something that I would love somebody to say to me, and that is, it's okay if you're not rich. You still have just as much value.
Yes.
You know. And
that doesn't say anything about where you're going to be in 5 years from now.
Money is a product.
I think,
you know.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Finish what you were saying.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I feel like it's important to also listen to stories and find stories of people who started from less and were able to build their way back up. Like those are the hero stories, not the people who. So happy for you if you had family money, but that's not the same struggle as someone who grew up in a lower economic status class and climbed their way up. So I would actually give you another piece of homework to like seek those out and to feel some peace in knowing that this does not mean that there is anything written in stone about James Timmons.
Right.
That this is with the economy, as with time, it's going to ebb and flow. It is temporary, even if we're in the suck of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't always stay sucky. So I think that there needs to be perhaps some more reminders in your life of some of that, so that you're not feeling quite so stuck right now. But I also know, and I feel you on just like, it's hard if you can't do the financial things you were once able to.
Yeah. Money is a byproduct, in my opinion, of being content when you don't have money, or being content without money. You know, because like if I go chasing after money, then I think that's where I become judgmental of myself and others. But then the times in my life when I was thriving financially, I wasn't focused on the money. I was just content with whatever season I was in, and the money just kind of came, you know, as a byproduct. So maybe that's what I need to lean into. I feel like that's been the theme the last few days, is like, be content. Like,
it's all part of the process.
Yeah. So
Well, delightful humans, thank you for listening to our end of episode ramblings. And I hope that you found some helpful tips or things to consider to help you in these dreary winter months.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, for tuning in every week. We appreciate you so much. I appreciate sharing this space. If there are topics that you would like us to dive into, please let us know. And we would love to hear if there's anything that you are needing advice on. So please check out the link and write to us if there's anything that you would like our advice on. Is there anything that you have to say, James?
No.
All right. Well, from these half Asian persuasion twins, we'll bid you farewell. Bye.
Bye-bye.